Hey everybody, now that my first trip's out of the way, I'm starting to think that maybe my cargo van doesn't have enough cargo space. I have two options that are available to me. I had to modify them slightly to get them on the van, but they work perfectly, and let me show you what I got. The first option I have is the Curt cargo basket, which I got already on the truck. It has a angled shank instead of the straight shank. There's the two options that they do offer. I went with the angled shank only to give me a little bit more clearance off the ground. The load capacity is about 500 pounds, measures about 60 by 23 3/4. The other option I do have is a SportRack cargo box. I purchased this from Dick's Sporting Goods for about $300. It is more of a moderate price cargo box where they can range anywhere from $300 to $1,200. This one has 18 cubic feet of space, and for that price, I saw that as one of the better deals as far as cargo boxes go. A couple of accessories to look into for your Curt cargo basket is, for one, 2-inch tighteners for the receiver hitch. They take out vibration and tighten down whatever you put into the receiver hitch. It goes with a 3/4 impact. I like to take my impact when I do go on the road, so I usually do have sockets that are necessary for what I have or what I need. Also, locking pins. You can buy these in pair, that way you're using one key. Buying singles, you're gonna have multiple keys. With the setup I have, the pair work pretty well. Also, I have a Curt receiver hitch with an accessory attachment. This was a little bit more money, but of course the ladder racks that are on my van are much thicker than the typical roof rack on a car, and the hardware that was given to me with the SportRack cargo box is not long enough to where I would get enough thread on these tighteners to be able to comfortably drive down the road knowing that the box is secure. So I had to upgrade all my hardware, which I went to Home Depot and got 3-inch pipe hangers and had to buy new hand tighteners from Amazon. They're 3/8, which would not allow the plates that came with the cargo box to be used. So I had to go to the decking department, buy these plates, drill them out, and I scuffed them up, painted them, make sure they wouldn't rust. Other than that, we're going to go check to see if all this setup works. I have high hopes. I'm going to go ahead and muscle that box up, and then we'll get on installing the hardware. Gonna need a ladder. Alright, now that I got you in the box, I'm gonna take my bottom plate, put it up underneath, line up the holes, take my smaller plate, put it right on the bottom, top, and bring my bolt all the way through. And what we're gonna do, tighten these down. That's nice and tight. Nice and tight. Got a Sharpie. And I'm going to mark these all the way around. And that way I can cut these stems off. And I'll get to them later. But repeat this process 4 times. And then I'll have this secured to the top of my beam. Well, I forgot to charge my battery and lost the light. It got dark last night, but I was able to cut all of the bolts down flush. I took bolt cutters, snipped them, and then a die grinder to cut them flush. I got it right in between the threads and then sanded them down on a belt sander so that I could take a tap and die set and reestablish the threads. With all these connected, I did all 4 around using the small plate on top and the big plate on bottom. This is now very secure. Now I want to go on to the cargo basket to show you how I install it so that it gives you a little bit more ground clearance for when I travel. Now with the cargo box stock, I'm getting about 18 inches up off the ground, and that's with the angled shank into the receiver. I want to add this Curt receiver hitch to where I can have the accessory and the hitch at the same time. Let's install this and see how much else we get. Go ahead and drop the pin in. Grab another pin. Now with that receiver hitch accessory, I go up to 23 inches. That's a lot more up off the ground. Gives you about 5 inches. I ain't got to worry about scratching the ground, driving around, the van dipping down and actually bottoming out on the bottom of this. It's a nice feature, and you still have your connection to your hitch if your trailer is long enough to receive in there. Now to give you a look at how I got this set up, I got a locking pin in the back towards the receiver, a stabilizer, a locking pin into the accessory, and a stabilizer with the stabilizer angle portion going towards the accessory. This will make sure that it minimizes vibration, movement, and make sure that it's a sturdy rig to be able to carry everything you're trying to get to your destination. One feature I do like about this basket is if you pull the pin, you fold the basket up, reinsert the pin, and it's stabilized. That way, I always try to pack the things that I'm going to unpack first in this so that I can flip it up for the night. If I'm staying in a hotel, that way it's up out of the way for people that are coming in to access the parking lot. The one thing about a cargo basket is that anything that you put out here is going to be acceptable to the elements. Like if it's raining, it's going to get rained on. So one thing that I do recommend is a cargo bag. Now when looking at cargo bags, the 2 things that I looked for was water resistant and tie down straps. Well, that was a lot of fun working on the van, trying to figure out what I could do to add cargo space to the cargo van. I messed around with a few things, trying to figure out how I can tweak them to make sure that they were safe to travel down the road. I think the cargo box is secure enough that I'd be safe to travel with. The cargo basket, I really like that feature. The only thing is I'm not going to be able to open up the back doors when I have that on the back. There are a few people that I've seen put boxes on those baskets. The thing is, with the attachment that I use to raise it up off the ground a little bit more, it says right on the Curt accessory that it has a 500-pound load capacity, and that's including the basket itself. The basket holds 500 pounds, but the attachment says including the basket weight, you're minusing 70 pounds off the 500 right off the bat, so you're at 430. If you were going to include a box, I found a Rubbermaid just toolbox that was like 30 pounds. That would get you to about 400 pounds that you could put on the back end, and a metal box that was about maybe 30 to 40 pounds. I'd have to look into that. I always see the weights are different on different websites in the descriptions. So just finding one that would fit into the dimensions of that cargo basket would be a challenge, but I think it would add the feature of keeping it out of the weather. And for security, the plastic box I don't think would be as good as a metal box. But I also like the feature where people run ports out of it to have their generator in the box to make it a quiet box. I've seen that happen. That would take some modifications. You could always carry your gases, your fluids, and stuff like that in the metal box so that it's not in the cab with you. I wouldn't recommend traveling with flammables in your cab anyway, but the amount of extra cargo space with those two features is going to be a lot more than I'll ever need. I probably won't use the cargo basket unless I'm going far out and for a long period of time. Traveling with kids though, you always need extra cargo space. My wife will pack the entire house if she's got the space to do so. I really enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys do to add space. Like, I haven't even gotten on to utilizing every inch of the inside of the van when I start building cabinets and stuff like that. There's a lot of tricks that I see people use to utilize every square inch of a cabinet space. They get really clever about hiding things and stowing things away in certain areas. I'm just about to break down and buy the boards or the plywood for the subfloor. I just want to move forward with the van, glue everything down. I'll get back on that. This was a fun little thing to mess around and make sure that the box on top and the cargo basket was going to be able to be used. But for now, I appreciate everybody that watched the video. If you got any advice or comments or videos of your own that I could check out, please put them in the comments. Like, subscribe, stick with me. There's a lot more I got to do on this van. I'm looking forward to it, and thanks for checking in.